welcome again to Harley Fat Boy Diaries. Let's call this, 1.1 The Dream Begets Reality. So we're continuing where we left off last week. All right. Let me clear the throat. The same old can be discouraging. The drunken nights are followed by worthless, repetitive days that leave you standing still. I can picture my silhouette against a troubled sky, the bowed shoulders, hands in pockets, and I hear my voice on the wind saying, I'm resigned to live out my days going nowhere. But the morning after the drunken night when Basti and I said we would ride all over California, I was at my computer looking at motorcycles. I remember that morning well. It was when I first came across the Street Bob. I knew Sportsters and the big touring bikes, the baggers, those giant bikes for old men. I also knew about the Road King because a friend of mine in Destino had bought one during the first housing boom. My buddy John had flipped a few houses, making enough money to try on retirement for a couple of years, buy a Benz for the wife, spend a month each year with the family at a resort in Maui, smoke pounds of indica, and buy himself a brand new Harley-Davidson Road King. It was summertime and I was visiting my parents in Destino, my grandparents, the entire big clan. One evening I went over to John's house. I hadn't seen him in years, and I am unsure if I had even met his kids before then. That's what time can do. Time and space. It had been so many years since we had seen each other. The last time I saw him, he had just gotten married and lived in a modest, 2-bedroom house near the main strip. Now, his daughter, one of his daughters, opened the door and welcomed me into what I would guess was a 3,000 square foot house in one of Destino's better neighborhoods. She looked to be a freshman or sophomore in high school, which would have fit my calculation of years gone past. She led me through a large living room with tasteful furnishings, and the hardwood floor was wearing a giant Persian rug. I guessed it was Persian only because it had the same blue as the Persian rug my parents used to have in their entryway, a small octagonal rug. Among the many framed pictures on a cabinet that divided the room and created a walking lane was one of John, his wife, and their 2 daughters taken on Maui. I knew it was Maui because shells on the frame spelled out the island's name. I followed her silent bare feet past a sliding glass door that opened onto the back patio, and then down a short hallway to a laundry room. And on the other side of that was a gaming room with John's other daughter racing on a PlayStation. Like any responsible driver, she kept her eyes on the road, but she was polite. She gave me a "hey" without looking at me. That was enough. I could still remember being a kid. The high school daughter then opened a door to a small attached garage. The 2-car garage was on the other side of the house, and presented her dad to me with a lovely wave of her arms and a curtsy with a demi-point in the back foot, and she turned and floated away. She must still be taking ballet, I thought. Then I spun and fell because the Earth's axis shifted, or I simply stood in the doorway. Music was playing in the background. Vivaldi or some other crap. I wiped a tear from my eye. Or perhaps, or maybe, rather, because I can't stand the word perhaps, as it's like a barren hillock in a painting, like pulling a line from an Eliot poem and claiming it as your own. Or it is like John's bald head. So maybe the actual scene was me walking into the garage and saying, "What's up, Dick?" John responds like a true friend. "Hey, fag, want some coffee?" Words of endearment are all they are. Words Sounds. We didn't need words. We had known each other since we were boys. We could have gotten by just fine with grunts as language. John and I exchanged skin and embraced in a bear hug. He put coffee grounds that his mother had mixed with cardamom into a small stainless steel pot and set it on the hot plate that was on a wooden workbench that ran the length of the garage. I took a seat on an aluminum fold-up with a seat and back made from cross-woven vinyl while John built a joint at the workbench. I was almost sure that the only thing that workbench was ever used for was rolling joints. But the man was an artist when it came to rolling, and the garage was his atelier. The way he broke up the bud, his fingers moving to rhythms I couldn't hear, and as he was creating his masterpiece, he shot words at me. "How come you never come by? Germany. It's good there, huh? At least you got out of this place, man. It's just the same old, same old. And people here are as dumb as fuck. You're lucky. You think I'd like it over there?" The coffee started to boil. He adjusted the knob. He kept one eye on the coffee, making sure it didn't boil over or bubble over. The coffee was thick as mud, which is how I remember it. He let it boil and bubble for a few minutes, then removed it from the heat and let the ground settle. I see it as if it is happening before my eyes. After 3 or 4 minutes, John carefully pours the Arab-style coffee into 2 demitasses. He opens the door leading to the backyard, sits in the fishing chair across from me, and sparks the joint. I light a red, take a sip of coffee, and exhale. The cardamom gives the coffee a different shape. I picture us outside a tent surrounded by dunes, our camels parked at a charging station. I don't know what the hell you do with camels. Sipping coffee and smoking a hookah. John offers me a hit even though he knows I will decline. I can't smoke marijuana anymore because I get paranoid and see death. It's as if I summon the Grim Reaper for an intimate tete-a-tete, and Death and I get into an argument about free will and predeterminism or why Christ felt forsaken on the cross, and then my heart starts racing and my vision contracts. I wish I could have a puff, relax, laugh, be playful. Okay, I'm going to stop there. I should go on, but you'll have to tune in next week. Oh, Lord. Yeah. Well, I hope you enjoyed this. We'll see what happens. It's a notebook. I'm filling it up, and I'll try to do more next week. I transfer it from the notebook to a word processor because there's no way I can, or it's difficult to read my writing. Yeah, let's put it that way. Have a great week, and I hope you tune in next week. Take care.